Let us take time today to think about the great ideas that we once had but we couldn't bring into fruition because we just didn't have the right amount of time to sit down and reflect upon them. Let us also think about the relationships, the friendships that were broken just because we couldn't understand the background history of an event. Hi, welcome back to Book Review DNG, a channel which was created to share premium content from different books and authors all over the world that talk about personal development, business, and other topics that have personally inspired me. So we are still going on with our book, How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell. We are today on the 7th chapter that talks about reflective thinking. And as usual, I would like to know what comes to your mind when you hear reflective thinking. Let me know in the comment section. So moving on, personally, I think reflective thinking is taking a block period of time to sit down and think about the actions, think about the events that have happened maybe during your day or during that week, and understand your emotions, understand what led to certain circumstances, certain situations during that day. Why is reflective thinking necessary for us? It actually helps us to understand the sources of our action, the sources of our emotions, because as human, we have a lot of powerful emotions within us that sometimes we do not know how to control. But taking time during your day to sit down and think about the events that happen in that day, you actually get to understand, get a closer look at how events stand out. And even with problems, it's also the same thing. You get to understand the source of the problem, what led to the problem, what made the problem be worse, and so on. So the importance of reflective thinking is it gives you a true perspective. Like what I've been saying, when you reflect, you're able to put that experience into your own perspective. Because when something happens, of course, there are usually many people involved. But when you sit down, you actually get to think, maybe this person was angry before I met them, that's why they reacted this way. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I should have known how to control my emotions at that period of time. And now you get to understand that you are able to gain actually new appreciation for things, new appreciation for your emotions, for other people's emotions, and you will learn actually to live better in a society. Second point, reflective thinking gives you emotional integrity to your thought life. It enables you to distance yourself from the intense emotions, just like I was saying in the introduction, because both good and bad experiences have a lot of emotions behind them. But when you take that time, you step out with fresh eyes, you get to understand more. You actually open up your eyes to understand certain circumstances that probably during that time you didn't have any idea of what could have probably led to that. Third point, reflective thinking increases your confidence in decision making. Once you've sat down after a long day and you've understood the events that happened, the reasons why they happened that way, it actually helps you so that next time you get to make better decisions than the ones you made today. Why am I saying that? At the end of the day, if you realize that you were rude to people almost throughout the day, in the evening you will understand that being rude actually disorganizes both your day and other people's moods. So the next day you actually make a better decision. Same thing with business. When you reflect upon the issue you've been facing in your business and you get to the bottom line, you understand the problem and where it came from, the next time you make a decision, you will remember of how all the events, all the actions that you took that led to the previous problem, and as such you'll become better. It will be so much quicker for you to make better decisions next time. Fourth point, reflective thinking clarifies the big picture. So when you put your ideas and experience into a much more accurate context, you understand them better, because there are a lot of patterns that come together, and for you to be able actually to dismiss and organize all those ideas and plans in your head, you will have to reflect upon them, process each idea very well, make it clear to your own brain first, then you shall be able to clarify the big picture that you have in your own mind. Fifth point, reflective thinking takes good experience and makes it a valuable experience. There is something that I would like to read here. It says, experience alone does not add value to a life. It is not necessarily experience that it is valuable. It is the insights people gain from the experiences that make it worth it. So every experience by there has a lesson that comes with it. You cannot just live through an experience and decide to just put it aside. No, you'll be losing out on a lot. But when you sit down, take your time to examine the insights of the event, you're going to learn so many lessons that are going to help you move on with your daily lives. So how to embrace the lessons of reflective thinking? Like I've been saying, reflective thinking comes with a lot of lessons, comes with a lot of knowledge and understanding of our own emotions and of our actions. So the first way you can actually be able to embrace reflective thinking is setting aside time for reflective thinking. I believe that reflective thinking is closely related to meditation, because it's hard for you to reflect when you're seated watching TV. All those noises is going to make your mind so crowded that you will not be able to organize your thoughts so well. But if you set a time, let me take an example of myself. I believe that my brain works better early in the morning. By midday, I can't be able to sit down and think. But when I sit maybe from 8 to 9, I'm actually able to process my thoughts in a much better way. So you can choose a block period of time when you know you're more active and think. If you're good at writing as you're thinking, write so that you can understand your thoughts better. Other people just think out, then they write later the ideas that they've got. Second point, remove yourself from distractions. Sometimes reflective thinking requires solitude. Taking yourself out of the crowd, taking yourself out of the family. Go somewhere where you feel alone, where you know you'll have peace of mind, so that you can actually sit down and think about the events that have been happening in your life. It could be your office, it could be your bedroom. The place actually doesn't matter. As long as you feel comfortable in it, it is going to help you a lot with the reflective thinking. Third point, you have to regularly review your calendar or journal. I think I've somehow mentioned it when I was talking about the time for reflection. Some people can just look at the date and they remember everything that happened during that day, whereas other people prefer to write down, like they keep a journal so that they know on 26th July I was here and here and here and so on happened. But it depends actually. You need to get a method that works for you best. Either if it's writing the thoughts down, then you can organize them later, or it's first sitting down, organize the thoughts in your mind, then being able to write them later. As long as it works for you, I think you should use it. Fourth point, you have to ask the right questions. The value of reflective thinking is knowing, first of all, how you're going to start, how you're going to go about with understanding that event. You have to know, what did I learn from whatever happened today? How did I add value in someone else's life? Did I represent God in what I did today? So when you ask yourself such questions, you actually know the sectors in your life in which they need improvement, or the progress you're making in another sector of your life. Yeah. So fifth point, you have to cement your learning through action. Just like the Bible says, faith without action is useless. Even after you doing your reflective thinking, you cannot just sit back and leave. You have to put what you reflected on into action. If today you decided that I was so rude today, tomorrow you have to try to be kind, and you have to put it into action. Tomorrow when the day starts, try to be kind, and actually it's going to become part of you with the process. But you can't just do a lot of reflective thinking so that at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you're still doing the same mistakes. No, you actually have to come out of your reflective thinking with a lesson that is going to benefit your everyday life. So ultimately, reflective thinking has three main values. It gives you the perspective from the context that has happened. It allows you to continually connect with your journey. You keep the process of your journey. How far are you moving? Are you making any progress or not? And it is also a valuable tool to your personal growth. So few things in life can actually help you keep track of those things, but reflective thinking is something that assures you that you know, well, at this point where I am in life, I am able to control my emotions in such a situation. I'm able to make a decision out of a blue, and I know that I will not regret it later, because you're someone who frequently reflects on the events of their daily lives. Let us take time today to think about the great ideas that we once had but we couldn't bring into fruition because we just didn't have the right amount of time to sit down and reflect upon them. Let us also think about the relationships, the friendships that were broken just because we couldn't understand the background history of an event. So let us be taking that precious time to sit down each day and actually reflect on our lives. And as on that note, I would actually leave us with that exercise, and I believe that you've been doing the previous exercises. So today's exercise, I want us to take only 1 week to examine, to reflect each day upon every event, upon everything that we are going to go through during this week. Let us be sitting down, taking a block amount of hour to think and record every event that happened, the reasons why they happened, our emotions that were involved. And trust me, after this 1 week, you're going to see results. You're going to feel like your life is changing, and you'll be able to control your emotions better. You'll be able to be in charge of the events and how they eventually turn out. Thank you so much for watching. This is Book Review the NG. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. See you next time.